Women of Reddit, what was something you didn't know about men till you got with one? Morningwood. Had absolutely no idea that, just pops up every night till I started dating my first boyfriend. NRBs, no reason boners. Like it just happens? For no reason? Wild. That when they need to go to the store they just go straight to that item and then pay and leave. It's something I need to learn lol. That whole thing about the weight of their heart being their stomach? Accurate. I once hooked up with a guy I met on Tinder, made him breakfast the next morning. He said no woman had ever cooked for him before, looked teary, and now we're married. I made my ex a Snickers cheesecake for Valentine's Day and he stayed with me for 3 more months despite not even liking me that much. They keep a significant amount of thoughts to themselves. Seems the general consensus is it's saving something not telling their thoughts, or men are conditioned to keep it in. This is so upsetting. Let me say to anyone keeping quiet in your relationship. I promise you the right person wants to know how you feel. Emotions are hard enough. You shouldn't have to go through them alone. Sometimes yes. Sometimes. Well, never mind. How rarely they get complimented. I told my guy that I loved his shirt and he didn't even know what to say. He told me he couldn't remember the last time someone complimented him, so I've started looking for little, random things to compliment him on. A coworker told me that black jeans look good on me, so now those are my default instead of blue. That the ballsack physically moves around and you can see when it gets looser or tightens. It is super fascinating to look at, you can also feel it. And the man can't control it. How different a wiener can look soft versus erect. And how much it can shrink in the cold. That, don't typically hang at the same level, one is a little lower than the other. All those, doodles have lied to me. Most of them are way into cuddling and having their heads rubbed. How rarely men are given compliments about their appearance, and how even something as simple as "oh you look handsome today," or a colleague saying "I like your tie," can make a man's entire day. I had a boyfriend who was positively beaming when he came home and told me how one of his colleagues complimented his shirt and tie, which he rarely wore, and he went on to step up his work attire because someone finally noticed. He told me no one had ever said that to him outside of his mother, and I realized how little men are complimented on dressing well or looking put together. It made me so sad, because women are always hyping each other up, but men don't seem to do that. It doesn't mean men don't want or need compliments, everyone does, but they seem to so rarely get them. They can make their wiener move up and down, when it's erected, without touching it. That they can literally beat the life out of and slap around their dong, but one tap on the balls and they're on the ground. In fact, some of the lightest tap on the, can be the most painful. A hard hit hurts, but a light tap at the right angle can make it feel like you're gonna. I genuinely thought men held there when they peed, because otherwise it would fly all around with the force of urine going through it. How much some love to hold hands or be physical with hugs and such. Grew up in a bad environment and many of the male figures in my life were always cold or distant or flat out. Trying to figure out a way to handle it as my body/nervous system isn't used to that at all. How strong men really are. First boyfriend threw me over his shoulder like I'm a sack of potatoes. Doesn't get cold easily. Can be quite hard to open up. Loves cuddles too. Wants to be babied and taken care of too. Can be quiet without thinking about anything. When they ask you to leave them alone, they absolutely mean it. They don't mean, leave me alone for 5 minutes and then start trying to comfort me or overanalyze the situation or get me to talk it out. I had to learn that the hard way. How itchy their balls can be sometimes. And being quiet doesn't mean they're mad or thinking about someone else, they are just vibing. How often they need to readjust their balls. I rotate mine every 3,000 miles. How freakishly strong they are. My husband was a normal looking dude, didn't go to the gym, but he literally lifted a treadmill into the back of an SUV by himself. Generally true, but it's also much more true for some dudes. I have a coworker that does not look like strong dude. He tried to push something big on a pallet jack that I left the brake on that he didn't realize, and he got about 20 feet before I had to yell at him. He didn't even act like they were on. Meanwhile, I could barely move the thing with the brakes on and am a dude with moderate core strength. I will not, with that dude. How easy they can be to please. A plate of food without being asked or a compliment/show of admiration in front of other people goes quite a long way. Just how long they're willing to put off going to a doctor/specialist. The mental gymnastics done to avoid seeking professional help is astounding. How they can spend an entire day with a person and not learn a single thing about them. If there is a stain in the toilet, they will try to aim their pee to hit it. Do not talk to a man while he's playing video games, if your hope is for him to respond thoughtfully. That their balls move on their own? Weirdest thing ever. They love to hear the tea but make no effort to ask any questions or get any information to share. Lol. Example, him, oh yeah, Mark broke up with Jessica. Me, why, what happened? Him, IDK I didn't ask. I grew up with dogs and had really poor education. I genuinely assumed human penises were like dog penises until I saw one in person and asked, when is it gonna come out? That guys can make their wiener move without touching it. The first time I saw my ex do this I was really surprised. One ball hangs lower than the other, when they cough there, flexes so if coughing, repeatedly there, will flap up and down. I laughed so hard the first time I witnessed this. Their feelings and emotions about things work way differently than women. They love head scratches and when you do nice things for them to show they are loved. They can shape shift their balls into a bowl shape and collect water from the shower in them for fun. They love compliments and will hold on to them for years. I noticed this with my husband a while back. Whenever I tell him that something he wears makes him look nice, he'll wear it as often as possible. If he tries something on while shopping that I think looks good on him, he'll buy it and put it on as soon as we get home. I love that guy. Just how much they like peeing outside. How much smell is a part of attraction. Like I just thought I was attracted to him because he's funny and smart. Turns out I also like his smell a lot, and the guys I've dated afterward has to pass the smell good test to date. Who knew? This is mostly penises. The men's thread is mostly hair. Something in them always, or at least usually, keeps the sense of humor of a little boy. It's kind of endearing. They like to be little spoon. How task/solution oriented they are in the way they process information. How they really just want me to be happy, in life and in bed. That it's difficult to get after drinking. Penises float. The first time I took a bath and a guy joined me, I giggled uncontrollably while poking at it to push it down so it would pop back up. That they are really emotional, love a cuddle and want thoughtful consideration just as much as women. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was raised with men who didn't show their emotions or have strong opinions. The first time I got a proper boyfriend I was amazed to find he loved being held. Most are way less disgusted by my period than I am. How little it takes to entertain them. My boyfriend once spent over an hour throwing rocks into a frozen pond because he liked watching the ice break. I mean, I think it's cool too, but for a whole hour? My friend said she was amazed at how men can make anything fun and a collaborative project. Throwing rocks in the lake? How far can you throw? How many skips? Biggest splash? Or digging a hole at the beach? Every man will join in and make a hole halfway to China. Hey, thanks for subscribing and liking. It really means a lot to me. While you are here, feel free to hop on over to the last video. See you there. Ronnie.